Jidu Krishnamurthy said, when one loses the deep, intimate relationship with nature, then temples, mosques, churches become important. Jidu Krishnamurthy was discovered by C.N. Lee Peter near Madras in 1910 and taken under the wings of Annie Besant, who wanted to make him the next Messiah of the world, the next Jesus Christ, the next Buddha. They created the Star of the East, an organization which can take or declare him as the next Messiah. On the day he was supposed to be declared, he asked Annie Besant not to accompany him to the stage, and then Jidu Krishnamurthy goes to the stage and said, I am nobody's master and you are not my disciple. As such, I am dissolving the Star of the East. I am nobody's Messiah. Shocked the world, and that personality has shook the philosophical world, the psychologist and many thinkers. A thinker, very rare, who walked on this earth, so deep was his thinking that the whole world was shocked listening to him for years together. Jidu Krishnamurthy said, when one loses the deep, intimate relationship with nature, then temples, mosques, churches becomes important. When one loses the deep, intimate relationship with nature, when you stop talking to you lose your relationship, intimate relationship with your body. When you stop moving into your own land, into your forest, that becomes intimate relationship with the nature. When you are in deep intimate relationship, every one pot it grows, every plant, every one tree, every one insect, every one bird, nobody comes from outside, everything is right inside. Every 1 year is like 5,000 years. Not like our researchers who goes and research back. There's just the observation of the child. It's like 5,000 years of history. 1 year, every 1 year is 5,000 years. He understands the nature so much. He sees everything as God. In fact, he doesn't know whether it is God, but the happiness of every moment, whatever he sees growing. Every one moment is a change. Every one moment is a centered one, and he feels it. He feels his body because it's not covering much of his body. The body is exposed to nature. Nature is also naked. Nature is not covering nature's body with clothes to make it look artificial. That deep, intimate relationship made him to understand. Once in a while, when rain comes, it's a relatives coming to the house. He makes sure that the rainwater can run so beautifully from the pond to the rivers to the lakes to the sea. And he watches, and then when the big storm comes also, he is not frightened. He jumps in, gets caught in the whirl, and then he comes out and he swims and allows the storm water to drag him kilometers of the kilometers, and then he swims back. It was an enjoyment of a festival when the big storm and rain comes. There was no fear because he was with nature. He and nature together is one. That is the power. And that is where he sees God, yin and the yang. Positive and negative creates electricity. He and the nature. And when the wind comes, he has nurtured the trees so much. He was in deep, intimate relation with the trees which has grown. He has allowed it up, and he made sure that trees has gone, the roots have gone so deep down. It stands tall, strong, and some of the trees are the windbreakers. The tornado wind cannot do anything. It comes and then it breaks some of the dry wood, which can be used as cooking material, but nothing more than that. A deep relationship with the nature makes him very, very strong. He knows all the animals. No animals will disturb him. They have their own way. The snakes are very close to him. He knows which snake, what birds, what flies. He knows every situation, spring, summer, autumn, winter. And then he is in love with the sun. So much the sun, open body, the sunlight penetrates deep inside and creates a magnetic power, a nuclear force inside, killing all other germs. First of all, no germs enters, where is the killing? And he waits for the sunset to come so that he can rest. He can see the darkness is not a fear. He can penetrate, the eyes can penetrate deep into the darkness. Such beautiful is the darkness. He lies down on his back with his family and looks into the sky with the stars and the moon. Where there is fear, that is the intimate relationship. And when that intimate relationship, when one loses the deep, when you loses that nature and you rush up to the cities, and in the cities, you have a house, the whole sunlight, you forgot the sunlight, you are inside a closed room in the offices, in the houses. And when night time comes, you on an artificial light. From the artificial light, when you look into the darkness, it's dark. That's where the fear comes. You see a devil there, monsters there. Other darkness is so beautiful. First of all, there's no darkness. That's another beautiful path, another beautiful light coming out. When one loses the deep, intimate relationship with your parents, then old age home has become very important. When you lose deep intimate relationship with your parents, then hospitals has become very important for you. It's become your temple because you fall sick. But when that deep intimate relationship disconnected, dislocated, is disease, when your illness is dislocated with your parents, you become diseased, and your temple will become your hospital, where you can see butchers with a knife in the name of surgery cut each part of the body into pieces, block every part of your path, where you can see God, and even everything in the body is blocked, you see only devil. When you are in deep intimate relationship with your wife, with your husband, in the pure nakedness of his body and the mind and the soul, then you do not have to go for a research. There is God, a penetrating God, which tells you a story 5,000 years or 5,000 women or 5,000 men per day. You see a huge big light, not the light at the end of the tunnel. It's a pure light. When one loses a deep intimate relationship with your wife and the husband, then theaters, film actors, heroes and heroines becomes very important. Film magazine becomes very important. Adult book becomes very important. Blue films become very important. Your social media looking into the nakedness of your other sexual relationship becomes very important. You live in pain because that is not being able to grab. If you grab it, it's a stranger, you fall sick. Stranger will turn around and bite you. When you are not in deep relationship with your child, because that has got disconnected from your parents to your husband to your wife, now it comes to a child, you force the child to go to school. You get attracted with the publicity, the school, and the whole daytime the child is in school. When the child comes out of school, you chase him up to the tuitions, and you do not want to see that monster. The child is a monster now. Child is a fearsome person. And from there to the sports arena, when the child comes back, it is dark. You sit in an artificial light and you throw some food. You force the child to go and sleep or study. You are not in deep in intimate relationship with your wife. You couldn't even share your experiences, your love. You couldn't even see God inside the child. When that is disconnected, you live in fear. You look into the dark, you see a monster. When you lose relationship with your holy book, deep relationship with your holy book, then the newspapers, which 100 times said the lie, become the truth. The newspapers, the TV, and other mediums of magazines and novels becomes very important. When you lose a deep relationship with your relatives and your friends surrounding next door to you in your land, then the gangsters, the underworld dons, and the political leaders, dictators becomes very important, who can suppress you. They are stealing you, they made you nobody, but still you wanted to hang on to them. When you do not have a land, when you take a house, and like a pigeonhole, You sit in the pigeonhole with the windows and the doors and the security guards who is not your security. Back in your land, the trees are your security. The animals which you love around them, the snakes are your security. This is a different security. You do not exchange the security which is poisonous. You live in fear. When you lost that touch, then you live in fear. When the children loses the deep intimate relationship of the books, the studies, not the when they know it's nullically, for everyone like you read, write, speak and listen, and then everyone's chapter is a song and a dance and a street play. It gets into every cell of a brain. When that doesn't happen, it's hurry-burry, gooseberry. You live in fear of your studies, of your subject. You take a subject, you become an engineer, you become a doctor. They call you coolie doctor, coolie engineer. You know you're a coolie doctor, coolie engineer, but you pretensions made you to go to the temples, masjid. But when you're in deep, in intimate relationship with your nature, with all your subjects, then temples and mosques and churches become so important. That is the place where you're going to share, not to get frightened. That is what Jidu Krishnamurthy, the greatest person who ever walked on this earth, said. When one loses the deep intimate relationship with nature, then temples, mosques, churches becomes important. When you lose a deep intimate relationship with your family, with your children, with your joint family, with a family tree, you become a nobody. Then clubs and bars becomes a family tree. I am provoking you in this COVID-19, and I provoked you enough. Please stabilize that. You can see a massive happiness. That the GDP of Bhutan is the happiness, not the money. This is my 60-second short discourses.